We're going to analyze the brand new discus world record from freaking Mykolas Alekna going 75, 50 freaking 6. This is insane. Dude, I was privileged enough to stand here. I saw him throw the world record last year. Fortunate enough to watch it this year and have access to this footage and to be there. It's genuinely like cool to be part of history. So I want to go through, let's watch these in full speed, and then we're going to come back, analyze them and see what he's doing and talk through it. And I think one thing with Alekna is he's definitely different out of the back of the circle. There's some things he does differently compared to Denny, compared to Val, compared to Sam, compared to a lot of the best of all time. There's some things he does really, really well. Obviously, he's the greatest discus thrower distance-wise. I was actually even thinking about comparing him, looking at Roger Stona's throw here last year versus Stona at the Olympics, and then looking at this. It's interesting because they just do some different things, and that works. And he's so freaking fast across the circle, and he does some very specific things that just enables him to hold incredible forces. He's really interesting here, and I want to look at essentially each point of what happens in double support here, right? So at pickup, and how his left arm really stays inside of that left leg, and that's not normal compared to a lot of discus throws. He keeps that shoulder stacked inside, and you'll see this from the side angle. We'll see this from the side angle where he's sort of like going backwards, like entering in backwards, and then goes in, whereas the other style is sort of like enter forwards by going wide early. So it's just interesting. I really I love it. Let's see right there when his right foot picks up. That's where his left foot is. That's pretty standard, actually. Now let's see, like right here at the last position of double support, essentially is right here. His hip is right there. So now he's coming across that circle pretty rapidly, sweeps down and extends off the left. Left foot, as you can see, sort of barely opens up. Just goes right there. And even if we go back here, even as this arm is staying in, he's very relaxed in that upper right side. Comes through, and now we get that hip when we get out of this flight phase here, and his right comes down. Boom. Everything is stacked up, and if you can see just the stability here and the balance that he has. And I've always felt this left foot is pretty consistent. The height of that left is going to be consistent with a low left heel that doesn't open as much out of the back. But what he does here is he carries the discus high and then has that position there. Also, I did want to point out, like, being around him in the area, coaching Sam here, coaching Jaime, coaching Cece, Gabby, Mauricio, Obi, everybody there, Legend, Sam, Weeks, everybody was there. He's gotten like much more physically imposing. He's clearly gained weight. His traps look bigger. His quads look bigger. Shoulders were definitely bigger, at least from what I can tell. Now, what I want to point out, touchdown might be happening like right here. It might even be a frame prior to this point. Honestly, like his left touching down might be happening right here. I can't truly tell, but I'm going to say right there. Now, we're going to see from the side angle later what that looks like. And the interesting part here is just he's, a lot of the elite discus throwers would catch here. He's catching here, right? So we're seeing like a pretty decent difference. Now, very long, gets this down, let's say right there, and then he comes through, and the big interesting part here is as he's rotating. So he gets into his left foot gets flat right there. You can see he's got a flat left foot, right? You can see that pretty clearly. He comes around, and I've always sort of thought this, and I don't know if this is accurate or not, but like relative to his hip, the discus sort of falls through right there and stays at the same level because he starts to shift forward. And then you get this big separation between this, and you see like the shoulder, the left shoulder's almost high, but he's sitting into that left foot right there. And he's definitely, in my opinion, I want to compare this to last year, but he looks like he's down longer on the left than last year. And the discus, relative to his hip, seems to be further out as well. And on this particular throw, when he released this, it like went out, 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 and really, like, genuinely, I feel like this was a perfect wind throw. Like, caught the wind perfectly. And you can almost see, he almost, to me, if you've watched him throw like in Budapest and in the stadiums last year in Paris, he understands how to just slightly, in the ever so slightly, he changes his movement for the condition. And I compare this to somebody like Tom Brady. You know, like Tom Brady could throw a ball, there's a DN coming at him, he could do a little sidearm, he could throw over top, a little jump pass, a little shovel. And Mahomes is very much so reminds me of that. That's what I think about when I watch him throws. He's able to just tweak things based off the conditions, based off the circle, based off what he's feeling. And that's the freaking awesome part. Now you can actually see right here, his left's still down. And then pay attention right there. It goes, and it just shoots. And look at how it just shoots right up. Boom. And it's like, he knew what to do with it. And he just sat there like, oh my gosh. It was so far. It was in the air for so long. Oh man. Okay, so you sort of see here what I was talking about in the first portion is like his hips. If we were measuring, if there was a wall behind him, a lot of people enter from like the left quad, right quad. He enters from like the left glute and like sort of enters this way and then initiates the sweep. So his center of mass, if you put like his gut as the center of mass, is traveling across the circle very quickly right away. And he's like faster. And I think that's what's really interesting here is like his center of mass right there is already like almost 2 feet in. And he just gets across here, comes forward. When that grounds, discus is deep, like in line almost with his left foot. That's how mobile he is, right? Like you see that ground position here. And if you remember, he was stacked up on that really well. Now, I want to see, okay, right there is what I wanted to point out. So that probably was the grounding point that we were talking about from the back angle. That's insane. And this is the thing, like if you remember, if we look at some of the other throwers, that left shoulder's almost here. He's catching with that left foot down. Here. His left delt is in line with his right quad. That is the goal. It's like, yo, I've actually said this in a lot of videos, like left delt, right quad. It's the goal, but no one can do it except for Alekna. Okay, now here's where I want everyone to also pay attention. Right there. Okay, so this is what I want people to watch. Look at that left knee. Okay, so his left knee bent, left foot flat. He does have flat feet. We confirmed this in last year's world record. So that's loading up, right? And the speed's coming through. Everything's coming through here. He's still bent at this point. Just start to see a little bit of air off that left foot. Not much, but just a little bit. And then right here, this hip's coming through. He's still on the left. The right has picked up, and that's essentially when we start to see when his weight transfers to the left part, the front part of his left foot. He goes from slight bend right here to then when it transfers into that big toe, that's really where we start to see extension on the left leg. Right leg still a little bent forward. Huge finish. And then that just hooked right back in. So let's watch it now from this angle. And we see this coming through right here. Grounds. Deep. Right there. I mean, look at the tension in the upper back. And that's why those rotational drills are so important. And you can see I was talking about his quads definitely look bigger this year. You know, I think, what is he, 22 or 23 now? He's starting to become a man where he's just getting bigger, getting stronger. The reps are really starting to come in. Right there, he's got that long reach right here. Good patience. Right hip comes forward and just absolutely murders around for that finish. So this throw was just, man, it was something to watch. It was really, really special. And watching him and Denny go at it as well, that made it even more enjoyable. And I think that's the whole thing that we can learn is just that path. And I'm excited to watch Denny's throw now and break that down for you guys. So that's going to be coming here in the next couple days. Head over to throwsuniversity.com if you guys need help with your programming and your training. Peace.